Today I'm going to teach you how to make hot David Bowie. First, you get regular David Bowie, and then you put it in a pan and heat it up for a little while. And then if you're putting your hot David Bowie in a glass made of glass, you pour it in slowly because it's glass. And if your David Bowie bubbles like this, make sure to leave a like for that because it's bubbling. Thanks for watching. A little bit of carbonation, a little bit of Starman, and I'll see you next time.
I'm not going to argue with David there. Wow. I haven't even looked at this book for 30 years. But I'm going to look at it again.
Being with my granddaughter, photographing for the State Festival.
Yes, grandchildren, early morning sunrises, being in Castlemaine.
Yes!
My idea of perfect happiness is probably narrative, but not necessarily through the written, through the spoken. And I think that also translates for Bowie a little bit with a lot of the films that he's been a part of and sort of the fantastical kind of world that he has not necessarily created but immersed himself amongst.
Perfect happiness. I think reading would meet that, and writing, being able to actually get a really good sentence out.
Music and photography.
Yeah, photography for sure, and the beach, like the ocean, being at the ocean.
My idea of perfect happiness is, that's a hard question, but I guess just like David Bowie, anything to do with immersing yourself in another world or something to do with creativity is, yeah.
I think being with my friends and having sort of some sort of event with food.
Having a day off would be good.
Yeah, no, I take that back. Live music and beer. I went to a gig this week, so yeah.
Gardening. I'd say reading as well, actually. I'm not trying to copy David Bowie, but reading and writing. I love it. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't even ask for happiness. I just ask for one moment of a moment of niceness, I think, which would probably be curled up on the sofa with a really nice, comfortable blanket and a cup of something or a glass of something beside me, and a really good book. Yeah.
Well, I love music, so yeah, I enjoy listening to David Bowie, but listening to music, doing a bit of gardening, and hanging out with my family probably. Yeah, they're my ideas of happiness.
Listening to Bowie, I don't know, perfect. I don't know what perfect is. You know, being with people, enjoying conversation, and being with ideas, being with people who have got ideas to share that aren't quite right.
Not having any problems, I guess, in the world. Like, there's nothing to bring you down. You're just not sad, ever.
racing countdown engines on. 3, 2.
I think I've always enjoyed his ability to be androgynous. I love the clothes that he's worn. He's a highly attractive man. He's very eclectic, yeah. And I love his music.
Well, I think he's just a great pop star, and someone who's written an amazing amount of great songs over the years. And yeah, I think the world's poorer for not having him anymore. Amazing artist, really, and so many things. He changed so many times, didn't he?
I think style and glitter, makeup, pushing like gender boundaries, and obviously someone that's contributed to the history of music in an amazing way. And a fashionista, many things. Obviously a great intellectual, a great reader,
Labyrinth. Oh, Labyrinth. He is the god of, I can't even remember what it was in Labyrinth, where he's, the Wizard King. Oh, just gorgeous.
When I think of Bowie, I think of change from how he started to how he developed through and just recreated himself, and it just that was our era, that was our time, and we all listened to him and related to the songs, and so
he means being able to be who you want to be and to be yourself. He's encouraged so many people to do whatever they want to do and not worry about what anyone else is thinking about that.
The words on the back of the shirt will be on my gravestone. Some person will be wandering through a tiny little cemetery. It's not that tiny anymore, and they'll come to some weird point of a little country cemetery where they read that and think, wow.
I think it's just the creative expression of the unknown, and then how that can be translated into being accepted. So, just stepping out of the conventional realm of what's norm, and then exploring that, and then he was able to actually have it digestible and palatable.
I think one of the most interesting things about Bowie to me is how varied and interesting everything he did was. Like, every look he took up and every project he worked on was so different and creative in each way, and I think that's what's really special and inspiring about Bowie.
Great music, great character.
He reminds me of my time at uni. He takes me back to that sort of carefree time at uni, because I remember his songs.
That's really sad. That he's gone. So because probably loads of reasons, but I was starting to feel quite emotional when I actually came to do this, and didn't make any sense really, because obviously it's processed that he's gone and stuff like that. But I think it's probably that he has so much creative energy, and to lose that in this world now of all times, right now, any time, but so who's to replace him?
He taught me that violence wasn't an answer when I tried to have a fight that went the whole circumference of the Echuca football oval to the backing of me singing Rebel Rebel. And my face did get a bit of a mess, but the guy was fighting took it pretty easy on me. He was a ruckman.
Bowie's just someone, it just feels like he's always been there in my life, you know. It just feels that it's just been the wallpaper, I suppose, of my life. And I really, I mean, you know, of course the music's amazing and fantastic, and the lyrics really appeal to me, but, you know, in all stages of my life, from being a kid and thinking, what is this, what is all this about, what's going on here, to being an adult when, you know, some of the songs really spoke to me personally. And then when I realised what a Renaissance man he was and how he could turn his hand to anything, and he was just involved in all aspects of his, I don't even want to say career, because it was like it was his life, and how fashion had an influence, but he influenced fashion, and he just did things because he didn't do it because of outside dictates. I'm sure he did occasionally do a few things for money. I'm thinking of the tour in the 80s, but, you know, I'm sure lots of people did things for money in the 80s. But he followed his creative path, and it led him all around the houses and up the trees and down the trees and in the holes and in the sky, and that's what I really liked. He never pigeonholed himself, and he could become whatever he wanted to become, and you know, just so creative, so creative.
I did an interview with him when I was about 16. I won a local radio competition, and you had to come up with questions that you wanted to ask David Bowie. So that would have been in the late 80s, a long time ago, very old now. And I asked him about how he planned his image changes, and did he do it, you know, did he sit down and work out, you know, what he was going to be next and then what he would be after that, or was it all an organic thing? And he went off on some weird tangent. I have no idea what he was talking about. It was talking about eggs breaking open and, you know, things growing out of these broken eggs, and I think he might have been a little bit tired and emotional. And the DJ, Barry Bissell, was like, oh, so did you understand? That's right, David goes, did you understand what I mean, Natasha? I went, yeah, no, not really. I'm this 16-year-old girl sitting in Bendigo in the 1980s talking to David Bowie on the phone about some philosophical egg breaking open. I had no idea what he was on about. Still haven't worked it out.
So David Bowie was my inspiration and my love. He was a mask.
I suppose unrestrained creativity and androgyny.
Bowie, he's just one of these entertainers, or was, that seems to have always been there. So when he died, it was sort of like, oh, how is that possible? He just seems to have always been a presence. So I'm not, I don't actually own any Bowie songs, but I admire his creativity and his vision, and I guess, yeah, what he means to me is just this eternal being. Yeah.
I've brought in Puckoon, Spike Milligan, and Aladdin Sane. So this was one of the first real books I think I read, and it was very, very different to our school books that we were reading at the time. So it's probably one of the first books I bought to read. Milligan. When I went on to read his Hitler series, Hitler, My Part and His Downfall. Just hilarious, just you know, sitting on trains, just crying with laughter at the stupidity of what he was presenting. So, and at the same time, it kind of like makes sense, you know. It's great.
Fingersmiths. I have read half of it. I think this is a good time for me to have another bash at it. I think I was reading it when I was supposed to be reading a whole heap of other books for my degree, and went, no, I need to go back to what I'm meant to be doing.
I read a few, and not because it was his list, so I was really excited when the list came out, how many I'd actually read. So there's about, oh well, maybe not that many, but I've read about 8 of the books that are on that list, and I didn't necessarily, I was a bit of a late bloomer when it came to the love of Bowie, so I was exposed to him through film, so things like Labyrinth as a child, and then moving on to a little bit later, seeing him in things like the Prestige, where he plays Tesla, and so that was sort of my understanding, but then simultaneously in this parallel world, I'd read a lot of his books like 1984. One of them I've got here, which is my favourite, is The Master and the Margarita. Just the contrast in terms of ideology and the idea of disguise. Again, the idea of facade is a really funny thing, and people's values don't necessarily come forward. Isn't that transparent in the way people look or the way that they speak? Their values can technically been hidden behind, and so this book really draws those characters out and those ideas out.
I think it was 1984 on that list. Yeah, read that one. Well, it's really interesting how things have played out in modern day politics to sort of, you know, be along those lines, the double truths and all those sort of things. I read it as a teenager, so I actually do want to read it as an adult and see what I could, you know, what more I could understand from it with a more mature perspective. But yeah, I just love the way that it seemed to foretell the truth, which back then would have seemed quite fictional.
I've read A Clockwork Orange, and I think I've read a few more, but I'm not sure. It was a really intense story. The main character's name was Alex, I think. And I can't remember. I'm not sure, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I've probably read about 20 of them, but most of them are quite a long time ago. So yeah, I recently read In True Blood by Truman Capote. In Cold Blood. Yeah, and I'd always heard about this book, and I didn't really know what it was about or anything, and it blew my mind. Like I really liked it, and especially for the time it was written and the way it was written, and I think it's probably one of the first of that genre. I found it a really, really interesting book. Yeah.
To the seat with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a sad thing for.
I think mine might be, there's a lot, but changes, because changes is so true. It wouldn't matter what era you were in or where you were, that just is how it is. There's changes and it changes.
I agree, there are so many good ones, but changes is probably it.
Starman.
Yeah, actually, it sounds really funny, but it's probably his, not using a song, but I fell in love with his latest album, Black Star. And I think, not because it's contemporary, what I find with Bowie is that he evolves with time, and then he also still resonates with time as well. He resonates with culture, and I think he can adapt himself. So Black Star is probably my favourite song, and I seem to keep going back to it. Everyone's playing a lot of his older stuff at the moment, but this one just keeps coming back to me, so yeah.
Now I was thinking about this again the other day, there's just so many. I really like, now I've gone blank on it, Boys Keep Swinging, Boys, I can't think of the name, I think that's it, yeah, Boys Keep Winning. That one. It's just really gender bending stuff, deals with a lot of gender issues. But my favourite video is probably China Girl.
Starman.
What's Ashes to Ashes, Funk to Funky? What's that one called? That's a good one. Ashes to Ashes, yeah, okay, that's a good one. Good film clip.
Oh, there's so many. You're putting me on the spot. I like doing the riff from can't remember what the song is until I sing it. Dum, 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 dum. Ziggy Stardust, isn't it? Yeah.
Heroes is superb, but like, there's so many that you sort of hear one and then go on to the next one, and no, that's my favourite. That's my favourite. So.
Is it, I don't know, that one, Pressure? Is it called Pressure? Yeah, I quite like that one. It's quite relevant to everyday life. Yeah, I can relate to that one.
Changes.
Ashes to ashes.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, actually. Yeah.
Do I say my favourite David Bowie song, or do I say my just any favourite song?
Maybe Jean Genie. That's definitely one of my faves. Yeah, love that one. But it's hard.
See, Kooks probably. I really like Kooks because when my son was born, that was the song that was in my head. Yeah. But I'm sure everyone said there's millions and hundreds, and it's really, really hard to have a favourite Bowie song.
I don't know what it's called.
It's a star. Yeah, that's all I know.
I don't know very much. Pressure. It's coming over me. Da, da, da. I don't know it very well.
After you, Carl.
Count me in. Not really, no.
Okay. I've got to pretend I'm playing my banjo though. Ziggy play guitar. I can't remember the words. And the spiders from Mars, they played it left hand, but made it too far. It's been a long time.
Genie, da 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 da. Genie, da 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 da. That's all I know.
To sing a song of when I loved the prettiest star. Do, 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 do.
Because I could do wham bam, thank you ma'am. So that's it.
Changes. I'm not doing it on my own. My fellow Bowie. Bowie 2. B2.
B2. You're B1. I'm B2.
That was my effort. Okay, we're done?
Excellent.
Excellent. Well done, B1.
Thank you.
See his light, we can sparkle, he may land tonight. Don't tell your papa, he'll get us locked up in fright. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. It's all there. Let the children use it. Let the children use it.